Hey everybody, I'm Chelsea with She Sews Seams, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable no-sew quilted Christmas ornament. You don't even sew it. It's no sewing. So if you like fabric, but you don't know how to sew, this is perfect for you. You may have seen these on your grandma's Christmas tree. Well, I'm bringing them back, okay? Because they're very cool. They are very cool, and we are going to make them. For this project, you will need a 3-inch styrofoam ball. You can buy these by the bag from Amazon. I loaded them in my Amazon store. Just go buy them. They're like, you can make 1 million of these ornaments. Think teacher gifts. A box of about 1 million pins. I think this is like 10,000. I don't know. It's in my Amazon store. Just go get this too. Now it will require a little bit of cutting. I used my AccuQuilt for this. You could use a rotary cutter. You can use scissors. Make a little template out of an old cardboard box. It just needs to be 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, a square. Pick 3 fabrics that you love that you think would look cute together. You're going to cut 16 2.5-inch squares out of one fabric, 16 2.5-inch squares out of the other fabric, and then the last fabric you only need to cut 8 2.5-inch squares. Here's a quick little tip for this project too. Buy some jelly rolls because these are 2.5 inches already by 42 inches. So one strip will give you 16 squares, which is exactly what you need. So this would be a great way to make several of these Christmas balls without like a whole lot of work trying to match patterns, because these jelly rolls already come with like coordinating fabric. So I added some of those to my Amazon store as well. The last thing that you will need is a little roll of ribbon. You probably have this in a drawer somewhere, and a glue stick, because we're gonna have to glue some stuff at the end. All right, let's get into it. So the first step is you're going to take your squares, fold them in half, give them a little press, fold them in half the other direction, give them a little press. Now, the reason we do this is because it's going to make it a lot easier for the next step of the project. And you also need to know where your center point is, because we're gonna do a little bit of work around that point. So go ahead and iron all of your pieces. Now, if you don't feel like ironing everything and you just wanna get into it, you could probably just finger press these. And by that, I mean you'll just fold it in half and sort of crease it with your fingers. That makes a pretty good crease too. Whatever makes you happy, it's your world, I'm just living in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and iron the rest of these, and then we will get started. Now that we got the folding, pressing part, that's the least fun part of this project. We got that out of the way. I'm gonna take my ball. Now mine is actually marked with a little like mark right there, and I'm just gonna put a dot there so you can see it better. But this shows me the 2 poles of my ball, which is very helpful because we need to start right in the center of a pole. So take your first piece of fabric and you have your little cross here. I'm gonna put my pin in just a teeny bit lower than that center point. And I'll show you why here in a second. You're gonna stick that pin right into your center point and fold it down. And then you're gonna fold one corner in, pin it, pin that little point. Make sure you're going through all the layers of your fabric, and then repeat that process on the opposite side. This project uses about 8 bajillion pins. Actually, I'm just kidding. I think it uses 200, but it does use a lot of pins. So make sure you do get the box because you're gonna need them. And so I'm gonna repeat that across the way. So take another pin. Now this is gonna be your middle point, and just stick that pin a tiny bit lower than your center point of your markings. Slide that pin in, fold it down. Directly across, I'm going to fold my corner down, mark it with the pin. Slide this down. Now, if you have sensitive fingers, you'll probably wanna wear a thimble for this. I'm just making one, so I'm not gonna worry about a thimble today, but if I was making multiples of these, I would probably wear one. But for this, I'll just suffer through the things I do for you guys. Next, we're going to do those opposite corners. So that is our first layer. Now we're gonna do our next layer. So I think for this one, I'm gonna do white in the middle to sort of give it like a little separation. Find your center point, and you're gonna wanna measure about, I don't know, like a 1/2 inch down, maybe 5/8 of an inch, whatever feels good to you. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that pin there for a second. And we're gonna repeat that process going all the way around again, except we're gonna use a few extra pieces this time. So stick your pin right below that center point, and I will stick it right where that pin is and take the other one out. Fold your corners in. I'm going to go across the way. So I'm going to continue that on the opposite sides now. And we're going to do now the opposite sides of those little valleys. And that's what's going to give us the look of a star. This is where we're at on the project, and we're going to do the same thing now with our red fabrics, just like we did with the white fabrics. So do a set of 4 and then turn a little bit and do a set of 4 on the opposite points. This is the first half. Isn't that cute? I'm gonna put this in high speed and finish the other side, and then I will come back and show you how to finish this ornament up. Once you've completed your ball, it should look like this on both sides. Now, we have all this mess right here along the equator of the sphere. So what we need to do is cover that up. What I'm gonna use is some grosgrain ribbon. This should be wide enough to cover up all of your pins. 5/8 inch ribbon. Wrap it around, overlap it just a little bit. You're just getting your measurement right now. And what we're gonna do is hot glue this down. Now, one trick you can do is if you want to make the hanger on this, take a piece of ribbon, and before you glue this down, put a little dot, stick that piece in, put another dot, make a loop, press it down. You can make that a little bigger if you want to. Put another dot right here. And then to finish this up, I'm gonna let this sit for a second so it gets nice and stuck. All I'm gonna do is fold this under, glue it down. And there you have it, a nice little ornament gift that you can give to a family member or a friend or a teacher. You could do these in school colors or team colors, anything that would fit that person's personality. Like and follow for more sewing and apparently not sewing tutorials.